Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Prometheus Jones and the Temple of Kronos. This is Age of Mythology Retold, and I am your host, the Iron Kaiser. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing a build that might be familiar to you OG Age of Mythology players, but if you're brand new to Age of Mythology, or at least the multiplayer world in Age of Mythology, the incredibly creative strats and tactics that are available in this game might just blow your mind, like it's been blowing my mind. And one of the most creative, the quickest, and the deadliest of them all is what I call the Kronos Temple Rush. Now, before we dive in, I just want to give credit where it's due. I did not create this build. This is a build that I learned from Morley Games, who's a prolific Age of Empires 2 build order guy, and he's come over to Age of Mythology, and this is his version of the Kronos Temple Rush. I watched his video a couple times, figured it out, and I'm going to demonstrate it in this video, showcasing to you how the build works in the hands of a rather average or slightly above average player. But if you want to check out his description, I'll have a link in the description below to his video and his channel so you can check out more of his stuff. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive in. And what we want to do here, the secret code you need to know is 113 180 150 71 age up. Kaiser, what on earth are you talking about? Well, let me explain. You're going to start the game with 2 citizens, and you immediately want to split those 2 citizens off, 1 to wood and 1 to gold. And you're going to build a manor with the gold villager. You should do that right away. I kind of forget for a little bit, but it's not really that big a deal. I'll get the manor up pretty quickly. The next 3 villagers will all go to food. Now, we put the first 2 on wood and gold because we're trying to get a temple up as quickly as possible, and temples cost wood and gold. But after that, our priority is getting as much food as quickly as possible. So our next 3 vills will all go to food, and you want to put them on hunt, something like deer or rhino or boar. Vills collect much faster from those sources of food than they do from berries or sheep or even chicken. So try to get them onto wild game, okay? Now, after you get your 3rd food vill out, and not a second earlier, you're going to want to keep a keen eye on this wood villager, and you want to wait until your wood count hits 180. You need 150 food for the temple, and then 30 more food for a couple of extra villagers. As soon as you hit 180, get your vill off of wood and onto food. We're trying to get up to the next age extremely quickly. Now, while all of this is going on, you also start the game with 3 oracles. These are your scouts, and in the early game, throughout the game, in Age of Mythology Retold, these are also your sources of favor. So you don't want to lose them, but they are an incredible tool for scouting the map. And what I try to do, what works for this build, is to get your scouts near the enemy base. You're trying to find areas of vulnerability, trying to find where the temple might go. Okay, meanwhile, so after you've got your Woodville, you move him over from 180 on wood, you move him over to food, then you're looking at the gold villager. And as soon as you collect 150 gold, you want to build a temple. Build it next to the manor, because the manor will help the temple go up faster, and then send your gold villager to food. At this point, you have 7 vills on food, and that'll be what you need to go up to the next age. With your 8th villager, put him onto gold, right? And then you should have enough to level up. So, that should be happening. It's happening right now. Okay? Now, as soon as you level up, you will then want to split up your 8 vills into 2 on gold, 3 on wood, and 3 on food. 3, 3, 2. 3 on wood, 3 on food, 2 on gold. Okay? And economically, when you hit the next age, you want to try to put 1 more on each resource, and from there you can kind of adapt. But the main feature, at this point, what you're trying to do is with your scout, make sure you know where you want to hit your opponent. Okay? You can see I start to warp in with time shift my Kronos temple right next to the enemy base. Now, if this were any other player, by the way, in your back pocket you have the god power Deconstruction. You can target an enemy building and remove it from the map. I would use that to knock out the enemy's temple and keep him from getting myth units of his own as soon as he takes up to the next stage, because presumably he'll spawn myth units as soon as he can. I can't do that against Isis, I realize, in the middle of this match, because Isis's power, Isis's monuments keep you from using god powers near the monuments. Nevertheless, spawn up into the next stage. And there we go. And you can see I'm finding kills left and right. My opponent is maybe slow to react, thinking, hey, I've got a priest. I should be able to knock out this this Promethean just fine. We went up with Prometheus, by the way. You definitely want to go with Prometheus. He is the better early game choice for this sort of rush strategy. Prometheans are a great harassing game. Now, you will sometimes just win games on the back of that push alone. I've played many matches of this. I've lost some, I've won some. And many of the games that I won, I just immediately defeated my opponent. He resigned as soon as I got several kills. Here comes my temple. Here come the Prometheans. I don't think you need that temple. No, we're just gonna go ahead and fight this here. And it is game. But you're not necessarily trying to end the game. You don't want to take those 2 free Prometheans and try to knock down the enemy town center. You're just trying to find kills, and you're trying to slow down the enemy's economy. And you can see right here, I mean, at this point, yeah, I lost my Prometheans. The Anubite is now attacking my temple. But I have 22 vills. Or at least as an Atlantean, I have 11 citizens worth 22 vills. I've got 24 now versus my enemy's 13. My economic advantage is insane. And so, I've just used that in order to go to the next stage. Or, my game is set at this point, right? It'll be very difficult for Isis here to come back from this. I really enjoyed this match because it does showcase how I didn't even get to use half of my power, which is deconstruction. If I'd been able to knock out the temple, that Anubite would have a harder time coming out, and I might have even just won the game right there. But even with some challenges, you find serious damage. Now, I do see the serpents here, and I'm kind of trying to get some damage in. Morley Games suggests that after you go with the Prometheans, you back them up with Turma. I'm not entirely sure why Turma is the unit of choice. I believe the concept, the reason why I've gone Turma here, other than just following the advice, I think the idea is you just want a ranged unit, and being able to have that ranged damage alongside the Prometheans, kind of a front line, is a pretty good combination. Here, I'm doing a decent job of just harassing, right? Even though I'm not really... You can tell, like, individually they're not that strong, but you can mass them up and get some real damage in, right? And you're watching here as, there goes another Pharaoh. Come on, he goes down, right? Yeah, I'm building more Prometheans. I mean, I've got an incredible economy here. The Atlantean eco is amazing. I'm just finding ways to harass his army. Get a couple of kills and then back up. I'm harassing, not taking a straight fight. Yeah, it's a really good situation that I find myself in here. He's doing a decent job fighting this off, or at least slowing me down. But I think I'm finding really good kills here. If you pick Prometheus, use his Valor ability on units that are really low on HP, they're about to die, because when you promote them to hero through Valor, they immediately regain all of their HP. So it's a great little healing tool for individual units. Okay, now as we're watching this, I know right now we're watching the battle. We want to see these units, fight. But the real story, again, continues to be the economy. let's highlight this here. He's got 62, 64 in the bank with very little per minute coming in. Here we go. There we go. Ooh, barracks are coming up.
Skopos?
I think I probably misplayed the Turma here. I'm losing more than I should at that point. But meanwhile, for myself, I'm bringing in 500 food a minute. I've got 350 food a minute, 500 wood, 350 wood a minute. So yeah, the eco, really good spot.
Herr Joes.
And notice I'm continuing. I honestly could be doing much better with my scouting. But at least with my main scout that I used to get the temple down, I made sure to pull him out of harm's way. Now let's talk a little bit, as we're kind of got a little bit of a lull here. Let's discuss what is and is not, like when should you use this strategy? Because what I have found is that this strategy is not foolproof. It does not work every time. And in particular, at least in my experience, maybe better players will be able to, comment on this better or have, be able to get more done. But I find that there are certain gods and certain strats you do not want to use the Kronos Temple Rush against. Any god that has a really strong early game fight in him, any god that is extremely defensive, is going to have a very hard time getting toppled by the Kronos Rush, the Temple Rush. So in my experience, I'd say that Hades is extremely difficult to pull this off on. Just his ability to throw down sentinels makes it that much tougher of a nut to crack. It's harder to find vulnerabilities, places to attack those vills. He does a very good job of fighting that off. I think that Zeus would also be extremely tough to do this on because with the divine bolt power, he can just immediately kill one of your two Prometheans. And if you've only got one Promethean attacking, it's much harder to find serious damage. The two units make for a really powerful combo. Honestly, Isis does complicate things. In this case, Isis is hanging on, and I would even dare say clawing back. I mean, my 42 vills to Isis's 32 is not as impressive as it was. So, kudos to Fringaman. I think that if Isis were Set or Ra instead, with that temple being down, the Anubites don't come out, it might have been game. So, the pick of Isis made this harder, and I think in some matchups it would be unfeasible to pull off this strategy. I would also say probably of the Norse gods, Freyr, the brand new Norse god with his Gulen Bursty ability, very defensively focused. What do we have here? I've hit age 3. I used Trader to convert an Anubite. Unfortunately, it doesn't do as much damage as I wanted it to. So my Turmas go down. The counter barracks might be in trouble here. But fortunately, I mean, I've built 2 military barracks here. And what do I have? I'm moving forward with Murmillo, as well as my Behemoth living siege units, and started to leverage my superior economy into really putting a fight to Isis. I let that obelisk stay up. That's annoying. Do I really not attack that? I guess I want to try to kill these spearmen. Yeah. This is a good unit against spearmen. Just a good all-around fighter. Good tank. No! Okay, it will go down, but I am taking out his army in the process. Or I'll say her army, Isis, right? Boom. Anubite down.
Burek.
Moving forward, trying to go on offense. But really, the real story is this second town center coming up, and I'm sort of building a beachhead to continue to attack. Let's switch on Revealed real quick. And I think what's been helping Isis, again, giving Fringaman credit here, building a second TC over there will put some extra gas in the tank for Isis's economy. Monument down. Trying to find some damage. finding free bills to kill over here. The behemoth soaking up a lot of damage. It goes down.
Skopos.
And fortunately, this attack means that we are keeping the eco edge running. Very nice. My opponent's still in age 2. We're in age 3. But yeah, I'd say, in my personal opinion, Hades, Zeus, Isis, and Freyr. And then among the Gaians, I don't know that there's any... Maybe Gaia with the Lush might make it a little harder for this strategy to work, just because it's easier for her to pull villagers back and eventually for them to heal up and stuff like that. The extra movement speed on Bills would make it easier for them to avoid the Prometheans. But otherwise, outside of those stipulations, especially if your opponent isn't ready or prepared for the Temple Rush, it is an incredibly cool all-in strategy. I should say all-in. It's not even all-in. It's an incredibly cool early punch that has the potential to knock an opponent out of the game, or at least, like in this match, set you up very, very nicely. I am going to go ahead and maybe skip forward just a little bit, because at this point, we're watching Eco's build. Isis is rebuilding. Is that what was that? There's a temple. Okay, another temple. I just got a temple back. Meanwhile, you can't see it because of my camera. I need to try to, here, let me actually, very quickly, let me see if I can reframe this. Just like that. There we go. And boom. There, that's better. You can actually see my production queue now. Right there. And if you happen to notice, I've got my villagers producing out of both town centers, and I have not 1, not 2, but 3 barracks up to mass an army worthy of Mordor. The, not the Tochotes, that's the Greeks. The Archi, the Arcus, is the Atlantean archer. And I'm picking up the blacksmith upgrades, picking up the techs necessary. I'm going to use archers with behemoth support to finish this thing off. My opponent Isis at 6 points has gone age 3. You have a locust swarm in the background, summoning a plague of locusts that attack enemy units and buildings, devouring farms, livestock, and berry bushes. See from Sobek. The Petsukos, to my understanding, not necessarily the best myth unit as a single guy. You want to try to mass up a handful of Petsukos in order to really get the damage in. Especially... Wait a minute, let's switch over here. Is that the next one?
Into you.
At least she has the right idea of, you want kind of a front line so the Petsobek can do their damage. Okay, here's the Locust Swarm. Not really that effective. I mean, I think you want to use that against the farms, the livestock, and the berry bushes. Like, I think you find a handful of farms and you blow them up with Locust Swarm. Because I just, there, like, that was what, 50, that was half health on citizens. Not really gonna do anything. Okay, here we go. Anybody's in, but the archers, so many archers. How many do I have here? I've got 14 archers. And they're backed up with the Murmillo front line, the Behemoth, and just in time to see this Migdol stronghold going up. The Behemoth take very good care of that. It's so bad, doing what they can. I love the laser deluge, the crocodile lasers. They're cool. I like them a lot. There's Iron Kaiser Gaming. Listen, part about me, I love robots. I love lasers. So being able to play with the with Leto and the what are they called? Not the golems, but the robot men, essentially, in Age of Mythology, right? The living statues. Being able to play with the Petsobek and the laser crocodiles. There's some units in here that I really, really like. You might ask them, well, Kaiser, why would you then pick Prometheus? I just think that they're better for that early rush. And there is victory is ours. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed the strat. If you did, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and let me know what you want to see next out of the world of Age of Mythology Retold. But for now, this is the Iron Kaiser signing off. Have a great one out there. I'll see you around.